exception of Brooking, West Ham are able to field their strongest lineup. Francois van der Elst reverts from attack to midfield, and Scotsman Neil Orr is substitute in case Martin's knee injury bothers him again. Aston Villa are forced to make a late change. Skipper Dennis Mortimer is injured, and his place in midfield goes to 18-year-old Ray Walker, a Geordie who makes his first team debut. With Des Bremner still injured, Alan Kirbishley continues at number 7 on the ground where he began his league career. And a familiar face, today's referee, Clive Thomas. Villa start the game in 3rd position in the table, with a place in Europe very much within their sights. West Ham are currently 10th, but they haven't given up hope of chasing a European place themselves. Villa playing in the white shirts today and attacking from right to left. Cowan's forward, and Shaw showing good pace, but Martin covering well. North's header. Pike to Goddard. Stewart switching play. Devonshire. Oh, a neat return ball. Lampard. And here's Swindlehurst. Evans slipped. Good interception, but it comes loose. Surely. No. Dickens couldn't turn it back. Far enough. Astonishing incident, really, with Aston Villa twice having the opportunity to get the ball clear. They failed. First Goddard, and then Dickens from that very difficult angle, failing to punish Aston Villa. Stewart. Urged by the crowd to go on. Pike. Devonshire takes over. Beautiful ball. Goddard. Bonds getting forward, but not quickly enough. Devonshire again. And still, and it took a blatant piece of obstruction by Tony Morley, who I'm sure from that expression would disagree with me, to stop Alan Devonshire, who's been in fine form of late. And Bobby Robson has noted that fact, even though Devonshire, by his own admission, was disappointing in England's last game. It's a good header away. With still battling in there. In the end, Evans got it clear. It comes to Pike. And it was strange that it was 2 forward players who helped Aston Villa out of that mess. And then a fullback, Gibson, who finally clears it. Not much cohesion at the back being shown by Aston Villa in these early stages. Peter With it was making the vital clearance then. Aimed at Peter With. Pike. It's a bit frenetic in midfield. Really needs someone to calm it down. Swindlehurst doing very well. And finding Van der Elst. Looking for support. Bonds forward. Stewart. Well, Morley's got a difficult decision to make here. It is robbed by Stewart before he could make it. Dickens. Van der Elst now. On for Bonds. Nobody wanting to take on the responsibility of a shot. Devonshire. Lampard arriving in support. And here he is. Came off the defender and Walker got it clear. They're committed a lot of men forward here, West Ham. So if Villa can break quickly, there could be something on. Morley showed the ball to Stewart. but Cowans was alive to what was happening. With Morley. Well, strangely enough, Tony Morley, who looked as though he had ruined that move, ended up with the shot at the end of it. Swindlehurst climbing well. Williams. Lampard opting for the safety first. With. Dwelling a little bit too long on the ball. Van der Elst robbed him. Gary Shaw, Bonds right behind him. Forward by Gibson. Stewart heads it back. Pike. And Stewart swinging it for Swindlehurst in the box. Eventually he gets it. They're nearer the corner flag. Nice control. And it came off Gibson, and that's a corner. Fine piece of play by David Swindlehurst. Got a very nice touch on the ball for a big number 9. West Ham's first corner of the game then. Can Swindlehurst round it off? I wonder. It's aimed at Bonds. Devonshire gets it. And finds Goddard. Neat play. Billy Bonds. Dickens. Spectacular. Swindlehurst. Well, he got the shot in. Carried no real weight. He did well to have any kind of strike towards goal then. With header, it was a good one. Cool, composed play by Alvin Martin, and a good ball too. Well intercepted. Oh, that was dangerous. And you have to be brave when Peter With is bearing down on you. Pike with the back pass, placing Phil Parkes in a moment of danger, but he was decisive. Gibson clear. Back it comes. Pike and Van der Elst combining well. And sloppy, but in the end effective clearance by McNaught. Pike causing the danger. Goddard being shadowed as he moves towards the goal line. Bonds and Swindlehurst waiting for the high cross if it comes. And it was neither of those things. Pike gets it back. Martin lining up a shot. Well, the goalkeeper was always going to be behind it, but from that distance and with so many players blocking the goalkeeper's vision, it was a worthwhile effort by Martin. Who gets back to head clear at the other end. Devonshire forward. Evans header. Pike now. Pike. Dickens. And now Morley for Aston Villa. With Shaw. Made it rather easy for Bonds. Pike. Lampard with a lot of space to move forward. With goes with him. And Devonshire. Always a buzz of anticipation when he's on the ball. He finds Swindlehurst. Tries to get on the end of it, Swindlehurst does, and a fine save by Spink. Anguish on the face of Swindlehurst, but that really was a very good save. Devonshire looking so beautiful as he glided forward, linking with Swindlehurst, and the shot producing a fine save. Devonshire's kick, Swindlehurst's header, Bonds nearly got on the end of it, and the referee has given a foul by Bonds on Alan Evans. Devonshire, having an outstanding half here, has looked dangerous really every time he's been in possession. John Lyle leaning forward anxiously. Gary Shaw kept it in. Williams gave it away to Martin. Back from Evans. Devonshire to Lampard. Under pressure from Shaw. Gibson, good header that, with chasing. Held off Martin well and plays it back to Gibson. What a good effort and what a fine save. The best move of the game. Gibson initiating it with carrying it on. Gibson going on to shoot, and a fine save by Phil Parkes. Well, that's brought the crowd to life, even though it was a near miss by Villa. Now, who got the header then? Parkes with a marvellous save. I think it was with both he and McNaught came in between the defenders, and Parkes, for the second time in a matter of seconds, getting down well and making a good save. Well, it was a half that started rather slowly but came dramatically to life in the dying minutes, and Phil Parkes with two marvellous saves in a matter of seconds, keeping West Ham with a clean sheet at half-time. Aston Villa perhaps had conceded a lot of ground to West Ham before that, but really, with Devonshire always looking dangerous, the half-time score is West Ham United 0, Aston Villa 0, and a prospect of goals to come, I think, in the second half. Well, West Ham have been forced into a substitution during the half-time interval. Neil Orr has come on for the injured Frank Lampard. So West Ham get the second half underway. They haven't got a very good record, incidentally, against Villa here in recent seasons. Aston Villa unbeaten on their last 4 visits to Upton Park in the First Division. And curiously enough, 3 of those games ended in 2-all draws. Evans' clearance. Williams for Aston Villa. Goddard chased well. And Devonshire in possession. Goddard to his left. Dickens to his right. Laid on for Van der Elst. Good save. But Van der Elst perhaps should have done better. A good challenge by Morley. 3 forward here for Villa. This is Kirbishley. And now With. Kirbishley couldn't control it. Bonds bringing it clear. Here's Goddard. A good ball for Bonds. Looking for support. Only Swindlehurst up with him. Now Goddard. Bonds still going forward, but the cross was blocked. I must say, a few moments ago, West Ham might have had a goal. It was a lovely build-up. Dickens playing the ball through to Van der Elst, who shot from close range, but straight at the keeper. And here's Devonshire. That was difficult because it reared up from that sanded pitch, or sanded part of the pitch, right in front of Nigel Spink, who did well to hold on to it. Shaw chasing here with Bonds. Tremendous kick it was. And Shaw gets on the end of it. And Parkes doing well, bravely going down at the feet of Gary Shaw. And the danger stemmed from an enormous kick by Nigel Spink, almost the whole length of the pitch. Good goalkeeping at the other end by Parks to deny Shaw and width. Devonshire. Dickens drifting into space. Good looking cross, got up, flicks it on, what a fine save, but Swindlehurst bundles it home. And there was a touch of Trevor Brooking about that cross from Dickens. How well he did from that position. Goddard with a little flick on. It looked as though Spink had kept it out, but Swindlehurst bundled it home for his second goal since becoming a West Ham player. West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 0 in the 59th minute. And there can be no finer tribute to a man who's been likened to Trevor Brooking than to say Brooking himself, who's in the crowd, of course, today, would have been proud of that cross. It was a very difficult angle. Stewart's kick finds Goddard. And he wins the corner off Evans. Assisted well then, Paul Goddard, who's not having much joy in front of goal these days. Scored only twice in his last 24 games. Martin getting up. Well, they would have cheered him down the Mile End Road if that one had gone in. Billy Bonds, the ever-popular captain, with an overhead kick and a smile, even though it not only went over, it went wide. Walker. Did well. Shaw. Now then, on his left is Morley. Well, no real sting behind the shot. Walker. Oh, straight to Pike. He's looking for help down the left, but he's all alone at the moment. He'll do well to keep possession here and earns the throw off Cowans. Dickens, another tight angle. And that, I think, is a corner. Corner it is, Devonshire will take. Short to Dickens, back it goes. Well, Devonshire. The shot by Bonds and turned in. Billy Bonds claiming it. Swindlehurst tried to just make sure that Bonds gets the goal. And inevitably, it was Alan Devonshire who played a vital part in the build-up. He rode the first tackle, turned it in neatly. Billy Bonds turned and shot. Swindlehurst would have made sure anyway, but in it goes. It's Billy Bonds' third goal of the season, and West Ham lead by 2-0. 78 minutes gone. So, a reversal of the form book. Although when you examine Aston Villa's away record, they've lost 12 times away from home this season. It's not really all that surprising that they find themselves 2 goals adrift, with having shown no real prospects of putting that situation right. Bonds enjoying the joke and certainly enjoying the goal. Ball with plenty of time on the ball, but still manages to give it away. Williams being fouled by Goddard. And Nort with his onside here, although West Ham's players were appealing for offside. A wild tackle by Peter With, and he clashes with Billy Bonds. And that's good refereeing, isn't it, by Clive Thomas? Because a great moment, Billy Bonds and Peter With, and sensible refereeing by Clive Thomas, who instead of letting the fight ensue, got between them good-humouredly, but will now administer, I'm sure, a rather sterner word. It all ends in smiles and handshakes, to the relief of Peter With, who's had rather too many bookings this season for it to have been a joke if his name had gone into Mr. Thomas's book. Williams forward, straight to Ortho, with challenging, and he did well. Walker, here's Kerbishley. Looks like being a disappointing return for him. Indeed it is. That's the final whistle. David Swindlehurst getting the first goal, and Billy Bonds getting the second. But Devonshire, and how timely it was, with the England international against Hungary coming up next week, turned in a superb all-round performance. West Ham deserving their win, and if they can string together some more results like this, a place in Europe next season not out of the question. They won 2-0, and even though they've been beaten today, Aston Villa should also clinch a place in Europe next season, but they were disappointing here at Upton